Hey everyone, good afternoon. This is John Nerl, and this is my Wednesday Facebook Live. Today is Wednesday, April 11th, 2018, and today we are going to be talking about finding your leadership voice. So there is a lot of, I think, conversation to be had around this particular topic. Those of you who are pursuing a leadership position or you are in a leadership role, this is about knowing who you are as a leader. In other words, how you choose to show up energetically and professionally, but also, what your leadership style is like. And so I love this whole phrase about finding your voice. And so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to talk with you a little bit about how we get to really hone in and uncover and find our leadership voice. So I want to begin here a little bit with a story. So I was just getting ready to start my teaching career. And I was taking a course over the summer just to kind of help me a little bit more with some prep and some content knowledge and stuff. And I had this instructor who, I'm just going to say, she's kind of a badass. And I love that about her. Like, she was just, it was like, boom, boom, boom. Here's what you got to do. And so she had come up to me at one point and she said to me, so I understand that you are starting to teach in the fall. And I said, yes. And she said, well, I'm going to give you the best piece of advice I could ever give to someone just starting out. I said, okay, I'm all ears, go. She said, be firm, be fair, and be consistent. And if you do that, you'll have no problems. So now I'm like really curious, and I'm like, okay, well, what does all that mean? And she's like, don't be too nice on day one. I said, okay. She goes, you'll never get it back. She goes, those kids will eat you alive. So I thought, oh, okay. And I'm 22 years old, and of course I think I know everything. And I was like, all right, that sounds good. But I really kind of sat with that whole idea about firm, fair, and consistent. Because there was something there. I thought I could still be, quote unquote, nice. But the whole idea about being firm, fair, and consistent was important. And so what that meant was about setting expectations. And when we figure out how we want to lead, I think one of the biggest gifts we can give to the team that we're leading is about being firm, fair, and consistent, because they know what to expect. As a leader, whenever I've managed a team, it is not my goal to be their friend. It is my goal to help them be able to do their job as best as possible. That's what it's about. And so when there is consistency, there is reliability. And when there's reliability, we can then instill some trust. Right? So that whole idea about setting expectations around our leadership voice is really about how we show up to the people with whom we're working with. Hey, John. Hey, Chris. Welcome. Thank you guys for showing up today. I appreciate it. So when we talk about finding your leadership voice, okay, it is about how we choose to demonstrate our core values to our team, how we choose to exemplify what it is that we stand for, and who we are and what it is that we represent. So we could be the nicest person in the world, but if we're not knowledgeable or competent to do the job in leading our teams, we don't become that go-to resource for the people on the team for information or for support, because they don't value what it is we bring to the table. I think the other piece in this is when it comes to finding our leadership voice, there isn't that expectation around what we're going to do. I remember in one of the past jobs that I've held that having a team know and understand what you're all about and what you're going to do is really what kind of brings in that that level of trust, that level of relationship. And so that's great to establish all those things, but something has to come out. Something has to come out of our mouths as we lead, okay, about helping the people that are on our team. So what does that actually look like? So I was digging around looking for a resource that I thought would be really, really helpful to share. And there's a graphic from John C. Maxwell about the 5 levels of leadership. And just before we went live today, I posted it on my page. And I'm not sure. Yeah, I can't add it in here for some reason. I wish I could, but I can't. So if you want to kind of maybe open up another window and take a look at it. But these 5 levels, I think, are really, really important about how we show our voice. And so I just want to share some information with you today and walk you through some of these things, I think, how it relates. So the first level that John C. Maxwell talks about is about position. Right? And it's simply about the people follow you as a leader because they have to. Have to is the key thing here. It's not because they want to, it's because they have to. All right. And so what that means is that he says you have positional leadership. You are in a position of authority and people are going to, follow you for simply because of the position that you're in. There is no connection other than the fact that you're their boss. That's it. All right. The influence that you have doesn't go beyond your job description. They give you no more. And you also don't really give them any more because it's just from that position of leadership that you have. The second level is about permission. And so in permission, people follow you because they want to. Remember, not because they have to. So there is something about you that is attracting people to want to follow you as a leader. And that is because they trust you and they believe in you. I have said week after week after week that if people don't trust you, you have nothing, right? So it's really, really important that you build that kind of trust. Well, again, trust is repeated behavior over time. And so when we as leaders show ourselves as a reliable resource, as somebody who is a person of knowledge and who can support, that's where we start to gain that kind of permission from people on our team, when people really, really want to follow us, okay? I also want to say, and just stop for a minute, leadership is not easy. We know that. It takes so much time to build those leadership skills and the leadership relationship. And I am a far different leader than I am today at 49, than I was at 39, than I was at 29, and when I was at 19. But I am who I am today because of all those experiences. And so are you, right? It's the unique gifts that you bring to the table. So if you're still looking at that graphic, so number 3 is about production. People follow you because of what you've done for the organization and the accomplishments. I'm pausing here because I think that is key, in that there is a technical expertise that people follow you based on what you produce. Okay. Have you ever had a manager or a boss where you felt that they were incompetent, or they didn't know how to answer your questions, or maybe even you felt you knew more than they did, and so because of that you just didn't trust them, you didn't respect them or anything like that? Those feelings are valid. They sometimes happen, but in that, the level of where you follow them in a leadership role may simply be based on position. But when we are leaders where we have accomplished things, we are knowledgeable, we are resourceful, we are informational, and we have a proven track record of what it is that we've been able to do, people will follow us. People will want to be part of our leadership circle and be within our circle. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were saying to me how they would simply just like to have a different manager because they feel they would be a better fit. And we had this conversation. I was like, well, what makes a good fit? And they said they were more knowledgeable. Yeah, they were someone with whom could really help them with the technical side of things. So in that, if you can produce as a leader, awesome, right? That's great, because you have some accomplishments to back those things up. So people are following you not solely because you're in a position of authority, but because you have the technical expertise and track record to back that all up. All right, so I want to give a shout out and a hello to Terry, Aaron, and Mary Ann. Welcome this afternoon. Good to see all of you. If you are just joining, I am talking about a graphic that I posted on the page before this Facebook Live from John C. Maxwell called The 5 Levels of Leadership. And we are talking about that in terms of how that helps us find our leadership voice. So perhaps maybe you want to go ahead and open up another window to take a look at that. Hey, Gooby, good to see you, my friend. All right. So number 4 in this graphic is about people development. People follow you because of what you've done for them, and also what's in it for them. So if you think about people who are part of a union, a union leader who is on the front lines with their team, and they are advocating for them, and they are supporting all the different facets of the union, people will follow them because of what they may have done for them, but also for what's in it for them individually. So this is that one stage where we really start to see a greater engagement in the people whom we are leading and the people who are on our teams. So leadership is a relationship. It is not a one-way street. And so when we are called to lead and we serve, okay, so key phrase there, right? We are serving as part of our leadership. We serve as a means of being able to help the people who are following us. So it is the boss who is advocating for your professional development at work, who's encouraging you to maybe attend some extra training or attend a seminar, a course, workshop, whatever that might be, to help you professionally develop. And they're able to not only just advocate, but to get you the funds and the resources to go to that. You have that kind of connection, right? You see that there is something in that for you because of what they're being able to do for you. And then Maxwell talks about the 5th level here, which is personhood, okay? And it is the level of respect. So we go from a level of rights based on assignment, a level of relationships in terms of how you're starting to build that relationship with people on your team, the level of results, the level of reproduction, okay, in terms of what you're able to do for them and they do for you, okay, and then this level of respect. And so often we will hear from people about how my leader doesn't respect me, my leader doesn't understand me, my leader doesn't acknowledge me. Okay, well, in that level of respect, people follow you because of who you are and who you represent. It is where your core values shine at the forefront of every single thing that you do, because you move in accordance with your core values. So if your core value is about integrity, that's one of the ways in which you lead. If your core value is about profitability, in terms of bringing in as much money as possible to a company or organization, and there is nothing wrong in that. I want to be perfectly clear about that. That is how you move, okay? If your core value is about communication and perhaps maybe sharing or being quote unquote transparent with the people on your team, and you are putting out a lot of information to keep people in the loop, and being a person who is a strong communicator is really important to you, that is how you will move, all right? If you, whatever your core value is, that's how you show up. And that is where we find our leadership voice. Our leadership voice happens at this level. I worked with someone one time who got moved into a leadership role, and their response was, well, they have to do what I say because I'm the boss. Needless to say, this person didn't build a strong relationship with the people on their team. When we are able to achieve that level of respect, okay, when we come from a place of service for the people on our team will do whatever we need them to do, because they are bought in, they are committed, they are in it for the long haul with us. And that is a key component of just having a strong team, because they trust us. So as I was prepping for this and talking about, finding the leadership voice, there comes a point when we as leaders have to have the quote unquote difficult, courageous, candid, whatever it is, blank conversation you need to have with people on your team. It's good and it's bad. Good and bad conversations, so to speak. I think fair enough to say, whenever we have to deliver quote unquote good information, it is far easier to do so. Hey, you got promoted. You got a great raise. Here's your awesome bonus. So-and-so came and told me you did amazing work, and I just wanted to say, keep it up. Thank you for doing all that. Those are easy in the sense of being able to say them. When a leader is able to say things from their heart, it carries that much more meaning. Those conversations that I just shared with you, those examples, could simply be a check the box kind of conversation. Okay, we did them. There may not be any meaning in it. Maybe it's like, well, I guess I should do this, so I'm going to go through and check all this off my list. It can do that. But when we get to say those things from the heart, they are much more impactful. We hold the space with the people whom we are leading to let them know how much we appreciate them. When the coin is flipped, when we have to go to somebody who has a performance issue, who isn't doing quality work, who isn't getting along well with other people on the team, or is causing a rift, those conversations are far more impactful when they come from the heart. I'm not saying you can't be firm, fair, and consistent. I'm not saying there doesn't come a time and a place where we may even have to be stern with somebody because they're in some kind of professional jeopardy, or they just did something so toxic or vitriolic to a team that you need to step up and lead in a way to really kind of let them know that that behavior is unacceptable. But it can still come from the heart. It can still come from a way that acknowledges our core values. Because if we're in touch with what our core values are, that's where the leadership voice is. I had a boss at my last job, an amazing person with whom I worked with, and a big shout out to June Zach, because she's had a great impact on me. And we would talk about leadership and things. And she would say to me, it doesn't cost you anything to be nice. And knowing her and knowing the work that she has done throughout her career, that was important for her because that was about respect. I know she had to deliver sometimes some pretty difficult conversations and messages, but she was still nice about it. And she always circled back with people after things to check in and see how things were received and how they were going. That was one of her core values, was about treating people fairly and kindly, but also, really being able to push them and move them so they could do some great things. So our leadership voices are all found in our core values. And whatever that is for you, and however many people are listening to this right now, there are probably that many different core values that are resonating for you times 5, okay? But when we honor our core values, that's where we find our leadership voice. That's how we get to make the impact in relationships with people on our team, because we honor who we are in that moment, and we honor the relationships that we want to build with the people on our team. It's an impactful and a powerful way to lead. And so the last thing I want to share with you right now is that through my coach program, which was IPEC, the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching, we have a program there called Energy Leadership. And I promise at a later date, I will share a whole lot more information about energy leadership. But the premise of energy leadership is very simply, it is about how we show up. And it is an acknowledgement that leadership is how we interact with everyone, including ourselves. And so Bruce D. Schneider, who created the Energy Leadership Index Assessment and the whole concepts of energy leadership, there are 7 different levels of energy based on how we show up at any given moment. And our levels of energy fluctuate throughout the day, given the stressors, or what we say are influencers that happen in with that. When I work with my clients one-on-one, we go through energy leadership. I have my new clients take the Energy Leadership Index Assessment, gives us a common language about how we show up when we're performing at our optimal level, and also how we show up when we're under stress or when we experience those influencers in our lives. I share that with you because I have found that energy leadership has been really, really impactful in determining how we're able to find our voice, what that means for us at any given moment, and how we can show up and honor the energy that we're feeling and honoring the core values that come along with it. So if you are interested in learning a little more about energy leadership and what that might mean for you individually as a leader, for the people on your team and or your organization, just message me, let me know. I'd be more than happy to share information about it with you, and how energy leadership could potentially make an impact in the work that you're doing and how you are showing up. So Chris, thanks for the hey, good to see you, my friend. So that's about it for right now. I think we are good. But again, that infographic is on the Facebook page, and I want to thank everybody for joining today. It was good seeing you, and we're gonna talk a little more next week. I'm really I don't usually divulge this too quick. I am really excited about the content I'm creating for next week to kind of share with you, and hope you will either join back in with me next Wednesday or kind of check it out on the replay and things like that, because next week is something I've been working on, and I think it's going to be pretty impactful. So stay tuned for more of that. Wishing everybody a great rest of the week. It's going to warm up here on the East Coast and get a little bit warmer, which for those of us is nice because it's not going to snow anymore, hopefully. And everybody, you be safe, and we'll talk to you next week, okay? All right, go find your leadership voice, hone it in, strengthen it up. I'll talk to you later. Thanks, everybody. Bye.